how are you doing? Welcome to what is the first video of my channel. It probably isn't the first video I expected to put out, but having and ahhed over whether I should start with Norwich being promoted to the Premier League or whether I should wait till next season, what happened yesterday and has developed throughout today has been a real, it needs to be now. I need to do this now, because this is something which has developed a lot of emotions in myself, most of which have been frustration, disappointment, a bit of anger, but it's one of the biggest topics. And if I want to have a footballing channel, it could have a real effect on what that means into the future, what I'm talking about in the future. And I think it's fair that we have that conversation right at the start of my journey as well. Now, realistically, we all know what this is about. We all know exactly what the European Super League is. My version of what that is it's the European MLS. That's all it is. We're all becoming a franchise now. The Americans have invaded, and history has gone full about face, in a sporting sense. And there are obvious pros to the clubs that have decided to take this decision. I don't want to make it look like I understand any of those, because I think the selfishness trumps it. But when money talks, I guess money talks. Even though realistically, are these clubs that really need more money during not only this time of life and world, but in general? I don't think so. But I'm not the one being offered reportedly 350 million just to sign my name on the bottom of a piece of paper. I don't know. It's up to yourselves. For me, I think there are points which we'll discuss which are much, much more important than money. Now, I've seen today a mixture of emotion. I'd say 90% of people definitely are against this. But there are people that make some claims as to why it's a good idea, or at least why we shouldn't worry or moan. One of the fair ones that I will say is, look, this is still early days. It was announced properly announced really almost gone midnight last night, and today has still been, the feelers are being put out of exactly what's going to happen, what's even goddamn legal and all of that stuff. So I will caveat the fact that I do understand when people are saying, let's see what happens. Of course, let's see what happens. But I think there has been plenty to talk about that's happened already. One of the main things that I've seen happen is people talking about how is this such a bad thing when we are going to see week in, week out fantastic footballers and the best players coming up against each other. And I can understand where people are coming from that. That's about it for the defence as to why it's a good thing, or why we shouldn't worry about it at the very least. There is plenty on the other side, and plenty that I feel very strongly about. And we're going to get into that together. So what are my feelings on it? Well, as I've covered the emotions, but why those emotions? I think the hardest place to start really is, we've always known there is a real divide between the top clubs and the bottom clubs. Financially, skill, assets, whatever it may very well be. There is a real big divide between those. But especially in the English structure of things, when it comes to the actual game of football and playing, it gets hidden. And that might sound weird, but to me, I remember so many times of small teams, tiny teams, people who have no chance in hell of competing financially, skill-wise, team-wise, any of that, beating big clubs. The Davids versus the Goliaths, the romantic stories that we all remember, they happen every season. The goddamn tagline of the FA Cup is, this is the place to see small teams take scalps of big clubs. It's what everyone looks for. It's why we sit there and we see Rochdales and Boltons and these clubs down in the lower end of the English pyramid getting excited to play in Arsenal. And when you talk to someone who doesn't understand football, you'll be like, well, surely they're going to get beaten. It doesn't matter. We all love that chance. And we love that chance to prove ourselves. If you pull those big clubs out of the English pyramid, and even if you don't pull them out, even if they're somehow able to stay in the league, it's obvious that when it comes to the domestic competitions, their focus is not going to be there. It's barely been there the past few years when it comes to the FA Cup, the League Cup. They're going to be more focused on the revenue earner. And when you pull them out, either fully or just turn their attention, that is devastating to that massive story, that massive romanticising of football itself, especially in this country, of being able to watch these small clubs go up against these big guys. Now it will be caveated. Either they won't be there, or if you did beat them, well, they played their kids because they had to play Real Madrid in 2 days later. So you didn't really beat Man City, did you? That's heartbreaking to me. Heartbreaking to think that could be a potential. I think the other immediate thought that I have is, who the hell chose these teams? If I switch it over to my screen, for example, now for the Serie A, at the minute we have Inter Milan, AC Milan and Juventus are these selected teams that will be coming into this Super League. Alright, fair enough, you've got the top two there and you've got Juve. Now, I think we can all appreciate, though, that Inter and AC Milan have been underperforming for many, many years. Probably around about a decade, if not just over. Are they the elite? Really? Okay, fair enough. Let's try another one. Okay, well, what we got from Spain? Okay, well, we have Atletico Madrid, we have Real Madrid, and we have Barcelona. Okay, I think from La Liga, they are the three dominant teams. Fair enough. Now the fun one. The Premier League. So, everyone knows what the typical top six, or the typical big six of England is. In recent years, though, that big six has been pulled apart. The exact quote, which I think sums it up the best, is, our big six, which are going to be representing England in the super elite of Europe, only 2 of that 6 are actually in Champions League places. One of them has never, 2 of them have never even won the Champions League. Ever. But they are meant to be the elite of English football and the elite of European football. That's insanity. Surely. Who chose these teams? And I understand, again, tippy-tappy, I can hear the comments already. Oh, but big clubs doesn't just mean this. Look, it's obvious to everyone that the reason that these guys are elite is because their stadiums are elite, because their finances are elite. It's not because their play or their players or their staff are elite. It's simply at this point down to the infrastructure that they can then sell and make more money from. But it's a little bit embarrassing, surely. And surely this will only get worse, because if I'm allowed to stay in the Premier League, but I'm primarily focused on doing better in the super elite world of European Super League, well, then I'm going to start steadily coming down the Premier League table, because I'm not putting as much effort into it. I'm probably playing kids half the time, because I don't want to risk my main players, because they probably have sign-on bonuses or performance bonuses or some nonsense that the club will also receive. I'm sure it will become completely Americanized with some of the contracts. So, could I theoretically end up in the Championship or close to the relegation, but I'm still going to be considered one of the European elite? I think I could understand it a little bit more, where if you had to at least qualify for it every year, well, maybe it makes sense. But then it would just be the Champions League. So why don't we just stick with what we have? I'm going to do another video this week as well, once I've read up properly on exactly what's going on with the changes to the Champions League. I've seen little bits here or there, but I haven't fully really delved into it. And my feelings on that. But I feel like this, a lot of people have been saying about how this is just a way to force UEFA into doing what the big clubs want. Now, I think everyone agreed that is a potential up until about 1 or 2 o'clock today, where suddenly every single one of these European clubs has now dropped out of the ECA. All of their directors have removed themselves from European positions. This isn't a poker play anymore. This is real. They are going for this. They clearly have a plan, and I think, to be honest, I think the most likely thing is, maybe not next season, but in the next couple of years, a European Super League could very well be a thing. That's sad to me. Now, I've also heard news that clubs like Chelsea and Man City are looking to almost reverse this decision almost immediately. It sounds like they weren't fully on board with it, but again, because money talks, they knew that the financial troubles that they could end up in by not joining in with the bandwagon could have been devastating for them. I hope that these clubs across Europe, join the Bayern Munichs, join the Dortmunds, join the people that actually understand their fan base, understand the religion that football is for most people. I really, really hope that they remember who the hell built them. Remember the rest of these leagues, these other clubs that they have to beat to win titles, alright? You're not going to go score 6 goals against my club and bugger off to the sunset just to play other big clubs, right? I hope that they remember all of this, and I hope that they reverse it. But then comes the question, how do you guys feel about these clubs from now? Even if this doesn't happen, we're not going to wake up like it was some weird bad dream. I wish it was. So they've shown their hand. And it's either going to be they try it, it fails, they come back. They're not allowed to do it, they come back. Or they say, hands up, you've all raised fair points. Not us, someone else, of course, more important. We're not going to do it. But do you treat Man United the same way? Do you treat Liverpool the same way? I mean, especially for me, I want to hear from Liverpool fans the most. I want to speak to you guys the most, because I like to romanticise football and I think football's for everyone. But your club epitomise the fact that it's community, it's the working man, it's everything. How do you feel about your club right now? Because they've shown their hand. They were one of the most firm people with doing this. How do you feel? Let me know. Now, it's been an interesting video. I must have reshot these clips about 4 or 5 times just to try and bring some cohesion to it. I want to reach out to people. I want to start a conversation in the comments and understand some things. So do that for me. Put your opinion down in the comments. Ask me any more questions that you want me to answer, and let's all sit here and pray. I think it's fair to say that everyone agrees on one thing. The vast majority of people don't want this to happen, and this doesn't just affect big clubs. This affects all of us. If you're passionate about football and you love football, this means something to you as well. And we can fight how we can fight, but the biggest thing we can do is speak. And that's why this is the first video on my channel, because I can't wait till next season anymore. I need to give my opinions, and that's that. I can promise you that all of these videos will be the same way. You will see a lot more to come. As I say, I'm very passionate about football in general. I just love all of the different stories that come out of it. We will discuss many things, I'm sure. Thank you for your time. If you liked it, drop it a like. If you didn't like it, by all means drop a dislike. But let me know so I can improve. I should say, first video. Hit that subscribe button. More to come. Plenty more to come this week as I start picking up the pace with this. We also had Jose Mourinho go out this evening, fired at a suspicious time. We've had many other things happen, and we're approaching the back end of the season and the Euros. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and I look forward to speaking with you all in the comments. Have a good evening. Peace out.